Not really different, compared to your job as a journalist, because,
Right.
starting as communication director. So journalism and communication is still, the same field.
You're right. I mean, the way I see it is it's a different form of public service. Journalism, and you know this, is itself a public service. You're fulfilling a public good. Sometimes it's done within the structure of a profit-making business. Sometimes it's not. Serving in government is another form of public service, whether it's local government, state, or federal. So you're absolutely right. It's not that radical a change when you think about it, but it is different. And going from being the ombudsman at the Globe to being the communications director for a campaign, a gubernatorial campaign, allowed me the chance to go from one role of sort of keeping being a watchdog on the media to the other role of being the person who was now speaking to the media. And it was a very enlightening experience to see how journalists from this side of the exchange, how they work. And it really showed me a lot. If I knew then, when I was the ombudsman, what I know now of what it's like to be interviewed and what it's like to be on this side of the relationship of a reporter, I would have been a much different ombudsman at the Globe.
Less than 2 months before, the election, how, the campaign is doing?
I think the campaign is doing very well. We expected that this was going to be a challenge, especially in the economic climate that we were in and that we have been in. But I believe that the campaign and more specifically the governor and lieutenant governor have really demonstrated the kind of leadership that we'd hoped for from this administration, despite the difficult fiscal climate that we have been in. Obviously, these have been times that have required some very difficult decisions that have affected people and families all across the Commonwealth in ways that we could not have anticipated coming into office. I think, though, that when you see how Massachusetts has weathered this economic climate compared to other states in this country, we can see clearly how the wisdom of those decisions that are made, those priorities that have been kept for Massachusetts in terms of continuing to invest in education, where we now have students who rank the highest on tests in the country. We continue to benefit from our investments in education and education reform. I mean, the governor and the legislature passed the greatest education reform measure we've seen in about 15 years.
And especially, for MCAS, what are, the latest, results for MCAS compared to maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Right. Well, those results continue to go up, and we continue to see how our students are truly benefiting from the reforms and the measures that we've taken, and we want to see those continue into the next 4 years. We have seen now since December of 2009, our economy has created over 60,000 jobs. Just this past week, we heard that our jobless rate here in the Commonwealth has gone down to 8.8%. We see how much stronger Massachusetts has been compared to other states. And it is because of the leadership that the governor and lieutenant governor have given to us. They've delivered very difficult budgets, but they're balanced and they've been on time, which is not something we've seen in other states. We've seen reform in our transportation system. We've seen ethics reform at the state level, which has been badly needed. So all of these different kinds of reforms, which are not easy to do, but have been sort of reflective of the kinds of values and priorities that this governor and this administration has carried. I believe that the people will recognize the accomplishments that this governor has brought for us, and that we want to try to continue this progress rather than sort of go back again to the policies of the past that got us into this problem in the first place.
I agree with you, the unemployment, 8.8 compared to 9.5, in some states maybe 10.
That's right.
and plus. But a lot of people watching this program, they say, oh yeah, the government has been doing a great job creating jobs and also invest in education. But a lot of people watching this program still are out of work.
Sure.
And what the governor message for those people?
Well, he understands that there are still, despite the gains that we have made, that there are still many people who are hurting, who are looking for jobs, and have not been able to find them. This is why we need to continue the momentum that we're beginning to see now at the state level with our economy and our jobs. And we need to be able to try to find ways to help people connect with those jobs, but more importantly, to be able to develop the skills that they need to allow themselves to move up that job ladder, whether it's in terms of language, English language, whether it's in terms of recertification for those who already have experience or degrees in a certain field, to try to get them back into those fields. We know, for example, that our strongest sectors here in the Commonwealth are in healthcare, they're in financial services, they're in green technology, renewable energy, and we need to make sure that all of our workforce has the skills that are going to match the needs of those sectors. And providing that kind of training is going to continue to be a priority for this administration going forward. So we're beginning to feel this momentum in the economy strengthening. It would be unfortunate if we turned back from that momentum by choosing to go another way. And so for those people and your viewers, I would say we just ask that you keep pushing on, keep pushing forward with us in helping us bring the kind of prosperity that we want to see again in Massachusetts to all of our communities across the state.
Now, how does the campaign get its message out in the ethnic communities?
Well, that's a very good question. And from the beginning of the administration, the governor has been very clear that he wants his message to go more directly to our various ethnic and minority communities. So for that reason, he once a quarter gathers members of the
minority
ethnic media at the State House for candid conversations and interviews. It's just a quarterly roundtable that we do, and I have often accompanied him. It has been, and again, that's been a priority from the governor and from the administration to make sure that we are delivering our message not just to the large newspapers in the big cities or the large TV stations, but that we are reaching out beyond, outside of Boston, throughout the Commonwealth, because the governor believes that he is the governor of the whole state, not just of Boston, or not just of that area within Route 128, but beyond. And that's why it's a priority for him to be constantly out, meeting and visiting different communities, to deliver the message personally, but also to work with various ethnic media in various languages. And he does, I remember in 2006, he recorded ads in French and in Spanish.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question because last Wednesday, you have your first 30-second ad on mostly on TV.
That's right.
But for a lot of in Haitian or Latino, sometimes it's not that easy to watch Channel 5 or Channel 7 when those ads will be on the ethnic media.
They're coming. They're coming. I can tell you that they're coming because there is a commitment from the governor and from the committee and the organization to provide those messages as well as on the website. So they're coming.
All right. Thank you, Richard.
Yves, thank you very much for this opportunity to be here and just to have this conversation with
And
you.
we will, next time, Governor Deval Patrick will be here.
That would be wonderful.
All right. Okay.